Hey guys, how's it going? I'm happy to be here. I'm still struggling with some of those heavier feelings, but some things that help me are, well, there's one in particular that I love turning to, which is Mel Robbins. I've mentioned her before, but she built her career and her life changing tricks on 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 blast off. So you have 5 seconds to hack the part of your brain that's trying to keep you safe, protect you, keep you in that low vibe, like lethargic place where you're not going after your goals, you're not taking chances, whatever. So I'm doing that a lot. Like every time I stop, I'm just so heavy, just like ill motivated and feeling kind of overwhelmed about how to manage my time now that I've taken on 2 jobs. And so it's just over and over 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you just start moving and do the next right thing and the next right thing. Which brings me to my next bit. So this was something that we were talking about in the my 12-step program, my meeting yesterday. I'm in recovery from drugs and alcohol, as most of you know by now. So this might be specific to those of you who watch these who are also in recovery, but I think there's something here for everyone because ideally we're all working on something, right? We all of us struggle with maybe bad habits or things that don't serve us, and we're working to do more things in the world that do serve us and expand our lives. So even if you don't identify as someone in recovery from a substance or whatever, you might find something useful here. So we were just talking yesterday about the simplicity of the program and how so many of us come into a 12-step program and into a program of recovery just trying to overcomplicate everything. And I know I'm really guilty of that still. Not guilty, but just like, I'm smart and I have a lot going on in my brain and I like to game things out. And I was joking about how I used to love proofs in math, and I like lists and strategies and systems, not like the system, but I like figuring out. I always am looking for a way to game something out. I always want instructions. I always want to create a hack or a way for me to just, if I could just figure this out and stick to it, everything would be great. But that's not how life works, and sometimes it's fun to kind of plan that shit out and it can be helpful, but often I find over and over again that life is just more organic and way simpler than I am making it. And so we were talking about in the program, the topic was just what are some of the things that you did initially that were just so basic and simple and actually life changing. And one thing that I remember has stuck with me for so long was rather than getting so hung up and stressed on the idea that I'm making a decision to not drink for the rest of my life, which at the beginning could give me a fucking panic attack. And even still, when I say forever, really, for a lot of things, it's just like, ugh, I want to rebel against that. But I heard early on that I'm not up against all the drinks. I'm not up against all these imaginary future potential drinks. I'm not up against, like, my problem wasn't how many drinks I had in a night. It wasn't that, like, okay, after 10 beers and a couple shots, I became belligerent. Because that was part of the thing I was always trying to figure out was like, oh, well, it was this many Jägermeister shots and these many beers, and that's why I got in trouble. And what I was told was, I'm really just, all I have to really resist in any moment or avoid or whatever is just one sip. That first sip of alcohol for me was the killer. So it didn't, and that's why I could never figure it out until I realized I was an alcoholic and accepted all that. It wasn't an issue of what I was drinking or how much. It was that as soon as I had one sip, it was in my system and I started craving it and I wanted more. And so no matter what I drank or how much, it was out of control and I was miserable and I didn't ever want to stop. So for me, that really clicked in my brain is like, oh, all I have to ever do is just say no to one sip. That's fucking easy. And again, it's also just one day at a time, 1 minute at a time. I'm taking my life. So see, this is where I think it's helpful, even if you're not in recovery, like, because I think about when I get in these moods where I'm feeling not so joyful as I usually do, not so just feeling a little lethargic and ill motivated and depressed, almost like I said. Just taking this shit 1 minute at a time and not worrying about like when am I going to snap out of this, am I going to feel like this tomorrow, how am I going to deal. It can be a lot harder to deal with if I'm freaking out that it's going to be like this for long term. I know this will pass and I don't have to worry about when, and I don't have to worry about the rest of my life, and I don't have to worry about tomorrow, and I don't have to worry about an hour from now. My job now is to just do the next right thing, to breathe in, to breathe out. And it's okay to feel kind of shitty too. I've been practicing a lot with that, with just, acknowledging like, this is how I feel. It's not ideal, but it's okay. And I'm just going to let it kind of be. So yesterday I was really fucking aggro. Like I was riding my bike and I was just feeling really hostile. And there were all these encounters with people in cars not looking both ways and people on rollerblades just being all in the way and and I was just feeling so just like, get the fuck out of the way. And usually I'll go into this place of like trying to change it right away because that's not who I want to be anymore and that's not pleasant and spiritual or whatever. And instead I was just kind of like just letting it be there. Like, I'm feeling aggro today and that's okay. It's been a cool experiment because I feel like I'm exploring the value in everything, even those places where I'm just being a human and maybe less than my best. But that's what I got right now, and that's actually just fine. So hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for those of you who continue to support this. Jen and Kelly, I'm looking at you specifically. But yeah, I'll be here tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.